Redditors who frequent AITA, what's the biggest butthole post you remember? Oh man, I often think about the guy asking if he's TAFE or asking his pregnant wife to wear a diaper at night because she was disturbing his sleep whenever she got up to pee. The guy who treated his friend's wife like a Meals on Wheels and the husband didn't care. It's not that bad, but I always remember it. So this woman, OP, is a nurse who often worked 12-hour days but still always cooked amazing meals for her husband. One day, her husband's best friend's wife dies. When she dies, Art's husband suggests that OP could cook some nice meals for the new widower as he is in grief and doesn't know how to cook. Fine. But then, this keeps going on week after week. OP gets home from work and is forced to cook all this food and bring it over to the new widower. But this guy has requests and would criticize the food to be more like how his dead wife made it. Then one day he has people over for dinner, not OP and her husband, and requests that she make him enough dinner for his dinner party. He requests this while she's at work and she didn't see the text. When she comes home, her husband is mad at her. She finally stands up for herself and says she won't be cooking for the friend anymore, and her husband has the audacity to think she is being selfish. Sure, maybe 1 or 2 weeks of helping out and bringing the guy a few meals. But this guy expected nightly meals for weeks. Like, at some point you can't learn to cook on your own. I also feel bad for both wives, that their husbands won't even attempt to help cook anything. That makes me think of a somewhat similar one where a guy was asking his wife to make him meals for work, and the wife later learned that he was selling the meals to his co-workers so that he could go buy some fast food he liked better, then got mad when the wife told him she would stop cooking these meals. Girlfriend of a widowed father of 2. She moved into his place. He was still struggling with letting go of his late wife. So the GF in her eternal wisdom decided to throw away all family pictures of his late wife one day when the dad was away because she felt it was time for him to get over it. He did not get those pictures back. They were legit gone forever. When she posted this on AITA but didn't get the validation she wanted, she just doubled down instead. They all double down because they are buttholes. The woman who reported the 17-year-old camp counselor because she wiped sand off her child's back, helped her other son out of the deep end of the pool and caught one of the boys when he was falling off the playground. In all of these instances she had to touch the boys, and helicopter mom felt she had other motives with this physical contact. Also to note, the boys asked the counselor for the help each time. The kid that ruined his little brother's signed John Cena poster. The little brother had gotten it signed when he met John Cena during a Make-A-Wish event that was held for him. If I recall correctly, it was personalized and signed by the whole crew of wrestlers that were at that particular event, including a few other big names, so it was basically impossible to replace. The guy who was mad his FWB wouldn't give 10k USD because he provided her with emotional support by listening to her rant about her ex a couple of times. We should charge him for reading his whining. OP wasn't the butthole in this one, but her son was. Basically she found out that her son was using her daughter-in-law as a stay-at-home maid. They had 2 kids, I wanna say, and Dill did everything. Cooking, cleaning, childcare, everything. OP gave Dill some money for a girls' weekend and her son forced her to cancel it because he wanted to go out with his friends that weekend, leaving her to watch the children. Dill called OP in tears and OP loses it, tells her to drop the kids at her house and go take her weekend. OP takes the kids to her sister's, with Dill's permission, and goes to the bar where her son is and tears him a new one to the point she gets kicked out of the bar. First thing she does after that is call her other 2 Dills up to make sure her other son's at pieces of crap. Oh, I remember that pose. OP for Mill of the Year. I love that she just showed up to the bar where her deadbeat son was and told him what a pose he is in front of his homies. You're never too old to be embarrassed by your mama. I remember a girl in her late teens who thought her older sibling was faking their child's food allergy, so she tried to catch her by not telling them about the ingredients before serving them a dish. Someone else had it first and recognized the ingredient and stopped the kid from eating it in time and called her out. She then tried to play it off saying her sibling was a drama queen and she was trying to trap her. Reddit tore into her, of course, since the child could have, died. The one with the guy whose daughter was super depressed. He got her therapy and she made some improvements, but then asked if he'd be the butthole if he cancelled her therapy because she likes it and her grades hadn't yet improved. I'm surprised I haven't seen someone post about the woman who made her mixed race stepdaughter sit out of their family Christmas pictures because her parents are racist and it might make them uncomfortable. Sounds like Mimu and people aren't the only racists in the family to me. The one where a pregnant woman posted about her partner and his family were pretty much planning for her to die in childbirth. I don't know if there was ever an update from her, but it was quite worrying. Yeah, it definitely sounded like if she didn't die during childbirth that they were gonna smother her or something. The guy who blamed his recently diagnosed with cancer wife for not having kids earlier. To top it off, he was so disgusted and disappointed with her that he went to book a hotel room for himself just after she had gotten diagnosed, leaving her with her family. Oh my god, somebody link. That is madness. I'm not sure if it was an AITA post, but I'll never forget the one guy. He just turned 18 and was getting ready for college when his dad walked in, said, "Your mom cheated on me. I'm not your real dad. I'm not paying for your college. Move out after you graduate high school." The dad had known for the son's entire life but didn't say anything until that moment because he thought it was the mom's job to do it, and the kid assumed his family would pay for his college like they did with the others, so he didn't save any money or look for scholarships. I remember that. That was so awful. Can't remember which sub it was though. The woman whose husband, declined to pay for any medical care or baby costs while she was pregnant with his child because they kept their finances separate and that was a her thing. If I recall correctly, she was making barely minimum wage while he made six figures and he told her to go to a food bank. Holy crap, that may be top 3 for me if it's true. There was the one where the guy asked the woman in the neighboring apartment if she'd cook for him. He didn't even know the woman's name. The one where a piece of crap dad got his daughter scratch cards for her birthday, and when she actually won a lot of money from the card, he just confiscated the money for himself. That was the post that made me realize that sub just wasn't good for my health. I already have high blood pressure, and, to my credit, I've never gone back. The woman who stole his dying son's wish, Make-A-Wish Foundation, to get to vacations instead of letting the kid meet his favorite band because that way she would remember for the rest of her life because raising a kid with cancer was so stressful. When I had cancer, I was 14. My parents tried to make sure I never felt like a burden because of it. This makes me super sad. I can't find the link, but it was one of the Parentification ones. Poster has an older daughter and a few other younger kids. They insist that daughter cannot do activities in high school because she has to take care of the younger kids. So far pretty run-of-the-mill ashlery. It came out in the comments that OP actually had another, older daughter that was left completely out of the story because after similar had been done to her, she completely cut the family out. It was just so strange upsetting that they had already lost a child to these actions, but still insisted that they were in the right and it was the daughter's responsibility to raise their other kids. The guy who burned all of ARP's candle made by her sister. BC, he thought she wasn't got over her sister's death too fast enough. It was worse than that. He admitted to her that he liked taking care of her when she was emotionally vulnerable, and it turned out he'd most likely done it in hopes that it would undo the progress she'd made in her grief and become depressed and withdrawn again. OP gave up after school activities to work for money when she was a teen because her younger sister had cancer. In adulthood, sister is okay. OP has a boyfriend and finds ARP's own boyfriend and the sister freaking in ARP's bedroom. OP dumps guy for cheating on her. Sister invites OP to dinner to announce that ARP's ex-BF and her are in love. OP hears about a several-month-long pregnancy later as well. OP refuses to support the relationship and pregnancy, so parents brigade the family onto OP. They tell OP that they never thought the sister would ever get to even gave a pregnancy, so OP should quit being an butthole and accept sister's relationship. I'd move to another planet to escape that family. I remember that one. Honestly, I'd knock my sister and ex's teeth out then never speak to my family again. The best parts of AITA is when buttholes try and portray themselves in the best possible light and they still come off as clearly and obviously in the wrong. Extra points for when they try and defend it in the comments and it becomes blatantly obvious that their version omits even more butthole things they did. There was one that got deleted because of AITA's weird rule about no posts where the central conflict is a breakup, even though I would say the breakup was not the central conflict of this, rather, an effect of the central conflict itself. But basically the ARP's cat got sick super suddenly and she was unable to take off work, so asked her boyfriend to take her cat to the vet. Her boyfriend took the cat and the vet said that it had some terminal illness, and the boyfriend told the vet to put it down right then and there. He didn't call the OP or anything, just waited for her to come back from work and be like, "Where is my cat?" The boyfriend thought he was completely justified. Did not seem to understand that a terminal illness in an animal does not mean put them down right this instant. The boyfriend could not grasp the concept that OP could have had a couple days more with her pet and taken her to be put to sleep herself, and said she was overacting because it's just a cat. It absolutely sickened me. Oh yeah, that one was super distressing to me as an animal lover. Of course you want to be there to say goodbye to your furry loved one. Also the cat wasn't even that bad yet, which is why she felt fine sending the boyfriend to bring it to the vet. So could have gotten at least a week or so to spoil it a little before saying goodbye for good. The woman who borrowed the ambience of a poor little girl's birthday party to give her child a Nintendo Switch right before the other girl opened her presents because she didn't like the other mom. I still shake my head thinking about it. The girl who mixed her boyfriend's different types of rice into one container because she couldn't see a difference, despite him asking her to stop reorganizing his stuff and specifically explaining that the different bags of rice were different kinds of rice that should not be mixed. There was one guy who posted a blatantly fake story about running over rare, endangered snails with his bicycle. He was an butthole for the attention he craved and for wasting people's time far more than just posting a bull's yarn. The one Indian girl whose boyfriend mixed all her spices together because why not? Even though she said explicitly don't do it, he did it anyways. Imported from India via her mother. Felt so bad, man. He should get with the girlfriend who mixed all her boyfriend's rices even after he told her not to. There are so many, but my favorite butthole is the one that threw out his GF socks because they had cute funny prints and he thought it would embarrass him. Yay. Even after his own mom complimented the GFBC, she wore the socks to bring joy to her workplace. The story I remember the most was the guy who threw out his girlfriend's quirky and rare socks because he thought they would embarrass him in front of his parents. That one butthole who threw out his autistic girlfriend fiance's, I can't remember which, baby blanket BC. He thought it was weird she still slept with it even though it was a comfort object for her. It is literally the least harmful thing. Someone sleeping with a blanket, not him throwing it out and making her lose it forever. And I'm pretty sure he kept trying to justify it, but everyone collectively was like, no. What a dong. Either the 6-foot sub guy or the guy who lost his GF over her gourmet cooking at home when he only took her out to Olive Garden. The guy who threw his girlfriend's umbilical cord away despite her having said it was culturally important. The guy who threw away the photos of his girlfriend's prom date because why does she need them? The girl who tossed her roommate's medication away because she didn't believe depression was real. Throwing away the medication is depressingly common, usually in relationship subs. That guy who forced her ex-girlfriend to have a baby she didn't want, then got butthurt when the girl moved away, leaving him with a baby, all the while she is paying 120% of court-mandated alimony. What was the story about the family who didn't like that their son or whoever that died left his inheritance to his boyfriend, so they just split it up among themselves and kept it? I think I remember reading that on Best of Legal Advice. The guy who went on holiday with his family and his girlfriend, and they kept choosing places his girlfriend couldn't afford for dinner, so she barely ate the whole holiday. I remember that. Then he said he was going to break up with her because he deserved better. Sicka. The single widowed father who made his teenage daughter earn her menstruation pads and tampons by doing excessive chores around the house to accommodate him and his son, her older brother. The father also paid more attention to his son and his sports, rather than his daughter and her academics. Luckily, she moved out and in with her aunt and uncle. He was a selfish man. and was using his daughter to compensate as a replacement for his deceased wife. What the actual frick? I never saw that one, and B, my comment is irrelevant now, but I wish I could tell her to just bleed on all their stuff. Period products should not be earned. In fact, they should be free. The poster was asking AITA because of the way he treated his roommates. They were a couple. He sometimes sleeps in his roommate's bed, in between them often, eats their food, cries a lot, and he was hoping it would disturb them, especially if they were trying to sleep. A whole list of just obnoxious crap that I wouldn't have booted a roommate for. Turns out it was written in the perspective of a baby and it was super funny. Dude threw away his GF's childhood vintage Meowth plush. Bought a new Gala one and couldn't fathom why it wasn't the same. GF showed up to the post and it was even worse than how the op described. The guy who gaslights his girlfriend into having an abortion even though she wanted to keep it, and got her family to side with him so she had no support, and then blames her for choosing to abort. I'm late, but if you find this, there was one story, I heard it on YouTube by Marky, and this guy was complaining that his wife, who just had a baby, wasn't showering as fun or beautiful to him as she was when they first met. His mom shamed the wife as well. And when wife got upset, op just yelled at her and told her that she was overreacting. It gets worse in the comments. Op continues to admit that he resents and doesn't love his wife or child. That one's always stuck with me. I hope wife divorced that loser and is doing okay. The one where the woman kept getting mad at the girls in front of her using a credit card. I think she even told the clerk it wasn't their card. She didn't know the girls but thought they were using daddy's card and he wouldn't approve. I remember open mouth reading going, this has to be fake. No one is this insane. The one I remember most was the woman who got mad at her son's teacher for hugging her child because she was trying to wean her 6-year-old son from hugs. She felt he was too emotional and he needed to stop being hugged and loved on. So the child started getting hugs from his teacher and mom got mad. My heart breaks whenever I think of it. The girl who stole a homeless person's dog, and when they got crap on AITA they started trying editing the heck out of the story to make them look better. Tricky between the stepmother making her 17-year-old stepdaughter do all the chores and miss online classes so the mom can focus on her real kids in preschool, or the dad who insisted on keeping his daughter's dog that she paid for everything for when she went to college so his autistic son wouldn't melt down. Then 1 week later, the dog escaped the house and died. Or the white supremacist obsessed with his bloodline that secretly tested his girlfriend's DNA to make sure she wasn't unpure, and later came back because his pure Aryan sister wanted to adopt instead of contributing to more white people. ETA, the sister isn't some super woke SJW. She just doesn't want biological kids. He felt she was letting down her bloodline. Last one was pretty bad. Women liked having fun dancing around in nice lingerie while baking while home alone. Boyfriend surprised her with a visit with his family including mother. He was shocked and angry at what she was doing and family was disgusted. They left. She was wondering if she was the when all she did wrong was harmlessly enjoyed herself while alone at home. Also, who surprises their partner with their family? Ridiculous. She dumped him, I think. Good for her. She did dump him. An update was posted about a while back. There was one where a guy's nephew was about to be taken by CPSBC. The parents had both died within weeks of each other. I don't remember which of the kid's parents was Arp's sibling. I think the mom was his sister, and Arp's wife refused to allow the kid to stay with them because he accidentally hurt their cat when he was like 4 or 5 years old. He was like, the foster system is terrible in my country, but my wife says number. Like, what, you psycho? I remember this dude that has a wife went to celebrate his birthday at another state because he can't handle the fact that his wife is depressed because her mom is freaking dying. He's expecting this woman to keep cooking, cleaning, and dressing nicely despite it. The mother-in-law died and of course the wife was heartbroken, but the dude didn't cut his trip short. When he returned she divorced him and he was wondering if he was the butthole. How much of a brain dead piece of crap do you have to be in order to not see that you're an butthole? If you are new to the channel, you can subscribe. I publish new videos every day. Until then, check another video. Bye for now.